Awesome. Okay. I think everyone who wants to be here should already be here. We might have a few late stragglers. We're going to go ahead and start our second weekly webinar. Yes. Well, I guess second weekly webinar and then our third actual webinar for our 30-day My Sustainable Plate Challenge. Today is October 30th, 2021. It's really nice to see everyone that's here. And we're going to get started. So these slides were made yesterday or a few days before yesterday, but Joanna Stog today unfortunately decided to consume some chocolate last minute. So today is actually just going to be me doing most of the hosting. So we can pretend Joanna's not there and you guys are all stuck with me. So um, as you'll see, our slides are very similar to the previous slide, couple weeks, and we're really going to be focusing on the connect, reflecting, and learning for each week, and then having our weekly guest speaker who's speaking about a new topic. And today it will be Yang, and then we'll get to his section a little bit later in the day. So let's jump right in. So similar to last week, if you guys want to take your annotate options and go ahead and annotate on the screen where you're all from. Last time we had a lot of people from the California side of the US. I wonder if there's anyone joining from other places in the world. Let me know if you're not able to annotate. Yeah. So like you could put a stamp, you could put an arrow, you could do whatever you want. Oh, oh, two more popped up for me. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So I think I still see a lot from the California coastline. Yang's from New York, I believe. That's super cool. Is there anyone joining from anywhere else in the world by any chance? No? Okay. That's super cool. But awesome. Yeah, it was super cool to see where you're all from. Um so I'm going to move on to the next slide. It's sorry. Oh no, I'm annotating on my own screen. Whoops, 1 second. I'll turn off annotations. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna move on to a quick recap of the 30-day challenge. So for those of you who haven't done this challenge before or are new to this webinar, I'm just gonna give a quick overview of what exactly the 30-day challenge is. Our 30-day challenge is made out of two tracks. We have our sustainable living track and the Eat Rainbow track. So the sustainable living challenge track is where participants will choose anywhere between 1 to 3 small actions to work continuously on for 30 days to develop a sustainable lifestyle habit. So we're trying to once again have people develop small habits that they get used to so often over 30 days that they'll do it for the rest of their lives. And this can really benefit the world. And then our other challenge is the Eat Rainbow challenge. This one is a little bit more about learning about nutrition and about yourself and the different foods in the world. And every day you'll receive one small challenge to do, like try a red fruit, try a green food, take a picture of a yellow food, something like that. So it encourages a healthy plant-based diet and learn more facts about food. So once again, why are we doing this challenge, right? Our goal is to make impact through small actions every day with love and compassion to build a more sustainable food system for the achievement of global goals. So what exactly does that mean? So as you may or may not know, the UN has 17 sustainable development goals. And our 30-day challenge, we're actually focusing on 6 of those sustainable development goals, such that we can, once again, use these small actions to make a difference in the world. And 6 we're focusing on good health and well-being, quality education, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, and life on land. So, like I said, this is going to be our third out of fifth webinar, or our second Connect, Reflect, and Learn. And our topic today is about zero waste. We have 2 more webinars, and hopefully you can all join us for the next 2 webinars, especially the last one where we're going to celebrate and recap the past 30 days. So today's agenda is similar as last week's. So we're going to connect real quick. We're doing a connection activity. We're going to reflect. We're going to look at the group project progress and individual sharing. And then we're going to learn about zero waste from Yang. So first, connect. Connect with yourself and connect with others. We're once again doing a very similar thing as last week, right? I want you to all take a deep breath and then exhale real quick, right? I'll join in. You know, And then just think about what's on your mind for you today, right? I just came back from work, so I'm kind of just relaxing right now. But yeah, so think about what's on your mind. If you want to share in the chat, you can feel free to. Or yeah, 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 maybe what's really on your mind is about Joanna's dog. How's the chocolate, you know? So yeah. Okay. If no one really wants to put it in the chat, we can move on to the next thing or the next part of our connection. Checking in with your feelings. Okay, so once again, take a moment to note how you feel right now, right? You can choose good, bad, okay, busy. Oh, wait, you can't, sorry, but you can choose other things like, for example, good, great, happy, playful, bad is like concerned, fatigued, excited. Oh, yeah, Halloween is tomorrow, so hopefully you guys are excited for Halloween. I don't know how many of you still do trick or treating, but that's always something fun. Or you could go out to a Halloween party if you're old enough you know oh, we got a grateful here. That's really cool. I don't know if you want to share what you're grateful about. That's probably a little much, but that's cool. I'm very grateful that you're typing in the chat. So awesome. Cool. So like once again, I'm not 100% sure how many people are doing the check-in in the Cred app, but this is once again something you can do. So for those who don't know, the Cred app is the app we're using for our 30-day challenge to keep track of all the small actions and how you're feeling each day. And I'll go over it briefly again in a minute. But yeah, just keep in mind like when you log in, you can see a check-in, breathe, and check-in notes section, and you could select like your energy level, how you're feeling, and then you can really track your own progress over the past couple of weeks and the next couple of weeks. So reflect. So I'm gonna reflect on the group project progress, and then I really want like maybe one or two people to share their experiences with the 30-day challenge so far. If you could, that would be great. So let's look at a reflection. So from last week when we only had like around 100 to 200 actions, in the past week we've completed another 100 to 200 actions, and we have a total of 485 actions completed. 366 sustainable living actions and 119 eat rainbow actions. Now we want to take a step inwards to see what type of SDGs are we focusing around, right? So it looks like the most actions completed focuses on responsible consumption and production, but the other ones are all very close behind, with climate action, health and well-being below water, and hunger, with life on land a little bit lagging behind. And then if we zoom in even more into the different actions we're completing, you can see a lot of people are bringing their own bottle and coffee cups, which is super cool. You might think, oh, well, this is something you should be doing in the first place. Yes, it should be. But by doing very simple actions, even things you've already been doing, you can really establish a habit that you'll never forget. Have no leftovers on your plate. That's a great one. I do that personally. Turn off the faucet when not in use. That's something that we should all do. And stuff like that. So obviously it's pretty steep growth. So or decrease. So yeah, that's super cool. And I hope we'll see this graph change as the next week goes on. So yeah. So before we move on to learn about the zero carbon for this week's webinar, do we have any people who want to volunteer to share? I'd be super grateful. I don't want to be the only one talking today. I'm so sad. I'm by myself, all alone. What's the song? All by myself. Yeah, just playing that in the background. But yeah, no one? Anyone? You can also type in the chat. And I don't mind if you do that. So I guess no one wants to share. That's so sad. Okay, then. I guess I'll share briefly about my experiences. Oh. Yeah, so my experience with the past 2 weeks have actually been quite good. I went into this challenge kind of being like, yeah, you know what, I might just select the actions that I already do, so I'm not like putting on too much on myself, which like I totally did. I selected the bring your own grocery bags when you shop and have no leftovers on your plate. I'm pretty serious about not having leftovers on my plate like ever since, and like everyone I know tells me stop eating when you're already full, but I can't waste food. And then bringing your own grocery bags when you shop is just like a normal habit of ours because I don't want to spend that money on the plastic and paper bags. But really, even though these were actions I was already taking before the 30-day challenge, I realized by doing this challenge, I actually am reinforcing it. Because sometimes I'd go into Trader Joe's, for example, and I'd forget my bag and I'd be like, oh, whatever, it's 10 cents. It's a paper bag. I can recycle it. But I don't know if you guys remember the 5 R's, but recycle is actually not the first one. And there's a reason for that. It's because you want to reduce your consumption before recycling, because recycling doesn't really necessarily isn't the best option. Refusing and reusing are better. So that's just stuff that I've really thought about now that it's forcing me to focus on these actions. Also, the Eat Rainbow actions are fun because I get to look at the different color foods I'm eating. So yeah, I'll give it a minute if anyone wants to share. If not, we'll move on to our next section.
Alvin, I can share.
Okay, awesome, Ihan. Go for
Yeah.
it.
So I also want to share my experience with eRainbow challenge because I think before selecting this Eat Rainbow action, I didn't realize that I eat so limit. Uh, uh, I only eat limited kinds of vegetables and fruits. And after listening to the presentation from our guest speakers on the onboarding webinar, introducing about this e-rainbow concept, about how many ingredients we should consume every day, I start to realize that I didn't get enough nutrition. So I think another benefit of joining this 30-day challenge, Eat Rainbow Action, is not just to complete these actions assigned every day, but it also remind me to think more and to review everything I eat, and and also to stay healthy and also take care of myself before in Tzu Chi we also say take care of ourselves first and then take care of others. So yeah, just a little bit thoughts about this. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ihan. Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. And I think that's something that we can all take in note to heart. Sorry, I just saw a message in the chat. I make it a habit to keep 2 grocery bags in my car just in case I forget to bring one out when for shopping. It is a wonderful experience to use less plastic bags. I totally agree with that statement. I mean, for me, it's a little bit more cost motivated, but it is really nice to use less plastic bags. So, okay, cool. Anyone else want to share, or we're going to move on to our next section? Nope. Okay. So we're going to move on to the learn part of our Connect, Reflect, and Learn webinar today. And we're going to learn about zero carbon. We're learning from experts about a sustainable food system. So today's speaker is going to be Yang Li. Yang is a certified Tzu Chi Faith Corporation member, a Faith Corp member based in New York. He's committed in Tzu Chi service programs, and he's a change maker and practices zero waste in daily life. There he is. There he is. I'm going to spotlight him, and then I'll let him take it away.
All righty. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And really, thanks to inviting me to share with about the zero waste. Today, I want to share something about how zero waste had helped me to transform and a little journey of self-care and disaster relief. Yeah, so first of all, it's going to briefly talk about what is zero waste, what I practice, and something I learned. Zero waste is a set of principles focused on waste prevention that encourage the redesign of resource life cycles so that all products are reused. So the goal is really like have no trash, waste, and send to landfill. That and the conservation of all resources by meaning of can responsible production, and you guys have already been doing consumption, reuse, recover all products, and most importantly, don't discharge things to land, water, and air. And I think a lot of you has seen the sea turtles pictures and those penguins, all those seabirds, and those animals being caught by those garbage that we throw into the ocean. When I practice zero waste, the two big things I focus on is actually repair and reuse, and it's almost like repurpose to me. So that's probably a lot more that my share is going to be based on these two things. Zero waste is a journey, and to me, it's like learning self-care and learning how to be compassionate toward others and myself. I began with food, making food, and kind of learning how to adapt it to a whole food concept. So I ended up for some reason I bake a lot. And I know there's like a lot of big challenges you guys are doing this time with food, but sorry, mine's not. And well, if you're Tzu Chi volunteers, I think you already know about bringing a bowl, utensil, and bag. I was lucky I actually got this backpack, so it's also served as a chair. So basically, I have more stuff I can carry. When I first started, zero waste became kind of like I didn't start it because I feel there's an urge, I need to save the environment, or this is something huge for mankind. Like I kind of start because a family member passed away, and then more like my world's being shattered, and then to a point I didn't realize that I don't before that happened I didn't realize that this event can actually cause me to almost unable to function. So took a long break from work and started making things. This is something just randomly pop out on my YouTube video feed, and then I just started learning how to do beeswax food wraps, and I cut a lot of blankets and my roommate's pillowcase and wash them and then to turn them into something different. And because we wanted to talk about reuse programs, so I find out like for your instant noodle bag, it actually if you can fit a perfectly for a peanut butter jelly sandwich. So that has been a stuff like I've used to carry things around. And if you have ever tried the instant rice, that's actually kind of really good for carrying cookies. So zero waste for me is kind of like I just try to make my own thing from scratch and then try not to use any like a biochemical, chemical like stuff like you can buy from the market. So I learned to make my detergent, my toothpaste, my mouthwash. Didn't shave today, but I also made my own shaving creams and just trying to learn how to make things with natural ingredients. And it's interesting that for doing all this, it kind of helps me to reconnect with myself, and then also learn thinking about the process of how all this product came to me, and then how this all the manufacturing process have the effect on the earth and on people that are around us. So here's also something I made. I have been like turning like can of food at the aluminum can into a bamboo bench. So that's the stuff that you can see on the screen right now. That's I made. One of the channels actually said once that anything that could be reused is all something worth cherish. And that's something that's very true. But the problem is sometimes we just don't think about how we can reuse all those things, and then we just feel if something like the package wrap, like when we finally finish the noodle and then we suddenly want to throw it away, but those package and a lot of stuff can actually turn into something more useful, maybe more useful than this food bank. But I think everybody can pick their own, be creative and pick your own stuff to do. So I would say that after a month and a half, I'm just staying home. I took the times off and staying home. Literally that's what I do. I try so many different ways to recycle and repurpose everything, and then to build things, and that really calms me down and reshape my worldview, and then kind of just it made me a calmer person, and also like accept a lot of things as it is, and then to really understand also to really understand and get to know the people's, all the materials around me, and to get to know my community. And then move faster, and there's the pandemic. So this pandemic actually hits me really hard. So kind of like in consecutive 2 years, I got hit with some emotional breakdown, and I kind of healed again. So I'm glad 2021 is not that bad for me, but compared to 2020. As somebody might know, I actually live in New York City, and where I live was the apex center of New York City. So, and to hear the sirens nonstop, and then watching people going to the hospital, but sometimes when you go on the street, it seems like nothing happened. It's really, it kind of made me question about the reality, what I see on news and what I receive, like the news I receive. And also when we go on to trips to send PPE to the hospital, and just everything to me just kind of has a lot of, all the information I have received has conflict. So that adding another thing is like my partner was having a mental breakdown, and my brother was stuck on the Navy ship, and when there's an outbreak on the ship, and my parents was nowhere to be found, and then my aunt was stuck in Jordan. Yeah, that was I kind of find myself back into a mental breakdown, and also borderline suicidal and drug abuse. So this time, luckily and also very miraculously, like I just got another intro to my video, like online, it's like how teach people how to make papers and recycle papers, which I didn't know that was something that I would do. But so I tried. This is the first paper I made, and it was a very interesting process because you take all those papers. I took a lot of paper from my office and those printed paper, and then kind of shredded them, soak in water, shred them, and then press them into a form, a new kind of paper. And this paper is very similar to when you were a kid that you forgot to take out the tissue paper from your pants, and your mom was yelling at you like after she took off on the washer. So that's the kind of this paper that's similar to that, but it can be flat, and it can be used for writing, and can be used for a lot of different things. I made this paper largely because I want to practice calligraphy, and I don't know what I'm going to be doing with those papers, because I don't want to throw them away. I have all the sutras on it, and when I find out this papers, I get so happy. So I know that I can just soak in water, shred them again, and then write on the new paper again. And after a while, no, I starting to, and when the pandemic in US started getting a little bit better, and Taiwan has starting a outbreak, and then I got serious, and I have a lot of friends who's still in Taiwan, and kind of I didn't know what to do with them, because I know how scared that people will be when they've been quarantined. I know how people are very uncertain about the future. So I learned a Tibetan Sanskrit, and starting to copy it down, and then mail them back to Taiwan, to friends, to my colleagues in Hualien, and just to hope that they can feel better, and not to be caught in all those painful news. This is a very interesting process, because I realized that when I was making a paper, I try to copy down all this Sanskrit. It calms me down. Because when I'm doing this, I wanted to send some blessing to them. So I've used this to change my mindset, and then to kind of train my thought to be in this gratitude stage, and then be content with what I have, and then just slowly to write on everything. And that gradually started changing the way I perceive things, and I was able to work peacefully with the people, with the volunteers and everybody, because that's my side changing thing. So as I, because we're still being quarantined and we can't go anywhere else, I just start making more stuff. So hey, since I told you, like I was sending this back to Taiwan and the friends here, so I kind of call this like a manufacturing process. And I also pick up some random racks from the garbage can in my workplace and build a drying rack for all the papers I'm making. Yeah, so I guess I don't know. I'm sure like if it's facing repair or recycles, but like there's so many things we could do to practice zero waste and to practice like making like material has a second life, to repurpose everything. It's just like when you do it, like more the more you do that, you have more creativity. I guess that's what I'm gonna try to say. So this, and later on, like I just start because I starting to getting a lot of like color papers. I didn't know what to do, and then I just at some point I was starting to try new things. So shred those color. This is what paper was shredded like, and then I built my own mold for the papers, and then start making different color papers. So those just kind of um, different paper that I found in the office, and also I don't use new paper. I have strictly using paper that have been used before, and then people will trying to discard them. And start making something different. So another like being making this is stuff I use sometimes send it back to Taiwan and then all the friends. The image is actually kind of interesting. This here I show. So this is one of the first thing I did. Like I learned how to press like different color paper, different color together, and then to make different image. So this is the my partner's bears. So yeah, we should have a teddy bears. Sorry, strip like that. So I just try to draw a cute image and cute pictures, and then just this thing to me is just kind of full of blessing, and we just remake make sure that all the things are recycled and reused. And there's so many thing other picture I draw, and then just trying to draw things around me, and then yeah, this all have very interesting healing effect, and it just makes me like really happy and calm, and still make them though. Still. Another thing about that I make is I like to repair things. So last month, New York has experienced a remain of Hurricane Ida. It caused a wide flood, like widespread flood, and our office was also soaking in, like the basement was also soaking water. And some of our picture frame are broken. I kind of like got soaking water, so I just kind of took it home as to repair them, to use different papers and other stuff to glue them together. And then the right side is what I ended up like fixing with. This is not paper, but the frame I was using fabric and to wrap around it. So that's just stuff I can pick in my house. In the end, zero waste, I kind of learned how to make tables. So, well, this is all the stuff. Like my partner needed a desk, and I just feel like I have so many furniture in my house. So I took two nightstand, couple, couple like wooden board, and I just nailed them together, and here's a desk. Yeah, like I said, like this is something I guess more fun, and then um, you just have to use your creativity and then to really think about like the things around you, how you can um, not not to buy new things, not to build things together and then have everything can have like a different another life, I guess. So when I was doing this, practicing this reuse and repairs, I find out that it helps me to reconnect. It helps me to really think about what I do has what kind of effect on Mother Earth. And because doing this, it helps me to grow gratitude and have more respect and then learn what love really means. Going back to this pros and cons thing, I don't know why it can be expensive because you can just use a lot of cheap ingredients or like natural ingredients. Is actually some of them is very cheap. For detergents, I use borax, washing soda, and soap. You just grind them together. It's cheaper, and then a box of borax and washing soda lasts you forever. Like it took me a year to finish them. So it's much more. They save a lot more money. And it's not really time consuming because a lot of things that you can do while you're watching Netflix, or you just save some money, some time that when you play on video games. It is convenient because for most of the zero waste practices that people teach you how to make detergent or like mouthwash or like toothpaste, try to use the store-bought like items, and then sometimes like pretty much local, so it should be convenient. Take extra discipline. I don't understand why that's an issue because it is better to have discipline, and then having discipline also help prevent you from going on the wrong path. So, and I don't believe in zero waste stores because if we want to trying to really do toward the goal of zero waste, we were supposed to help all the existing manufacturer, existing product to adapt to a new style, to adapt a concept that will prevent waste. And ultimately, that zero waste goal will happen. But if we create another brand, we created a whole bunch of other products that we called it zero waste, we actually do more waste than anything because the starting a new brand, starting a new product, and starting a whole bunch of something new will actually create a whole bunch of resources that was not necessary to compete with the existing manufacturing system. And those systems, for them, like when they see there's like a threat to their livelihood, they will find a way to either fight back or increase production. And this is going to be a lose game. So the best part is actually not to create something new, but rather to help everyone change the existing practice to adapt and better and more conserve a practices to walk together toward a zero waste goal. So that's one. This journey, like I said, like in this journey, like I learned zero waste is gratitude, respect, love. And Bill and Suji actually really familiar with those three terms. And being zero waste is kind of like Green Mountain, right? There's a city song called Green Mountain, Do Not Fight. But I feel like the title is more like Green Mountain will embrace all. Like, because the mountain, in order for all the living creatures to live on the mountain, they have to, they have to like coexist with each other. And the mountain actually sees no discrimination, it sees no differences among all living creatures living on them. It has a very wide open heart to embrace everyone. And this is something I think zero waste has taught me the same thing, because when I try to repurpose and everything, I kind of have to, okay, so not sure. So maybe I think some of you are still young, but before my grandparents passed away, they have experienced something like a lot of older people will experience. They felt useless, they felt unwanted, and feel they shouldn't be here anymore. I was younger, I didn't understand that, but through this healing process, I realized that when you look at older generations, it's not like they're useless. It's not like they can't contribute to the society anymore. It is us who kind of let them feel that way. If you look at around you, like if you talk to your friends, like I think a lot of people like to be what I call like middle age, like in 30s, 40s, because that's usually that's a person's prime time. When I was a kid, I want to grow up to be older, and I know a lot of older people they wish they're forever young. Why? Because we have a unhealthy emphasizing on the ability that people in the 30s, the middle ages, that can do, right? So to the repurpose to me, the zero waste helps me to realize that, you know, everybody has their ability and at a different age, it's just like we can do different things. Um, so doing this practice, like practicing zero waste helps me to starting to finding creative way to help our senior volunteers to do something different. So they don't have to feel that they, when they do things, they have to compete with the younger generation because they're physically are different and the mentally is also different. So they need to do something different. And repurpose will help someone to really be creative and then to really cherish life and to cherish like what other people can do. And it's not focusing on just what themselves can do. So I hope I explained that well. But so really wanted to say that it is important for us to practice zero waste. It's not just for the sake of environment. And if you look at all this concept, take all this concept into your life, you realize that it will help you to make good connection with the people around you. It will help you to be mindful about the people, about the things and everything happens around you because you always have to make that good connection, not just with humans, but also with the materials, with animals and everything, because everything has a life and that life is worth for us to cherish and then to make it last worthwhile, I guess that's what I'm saying. That's what I want to share today. I think maybe time is that time okay, Alvin?
Yeah, time is great. Um, yeah, thank you so much. I thought your sharing was wonderful. You know, the funniest thing I noticed from all of this was that after listening to it, you know how everyone took on COVID hobbies, but like a lot of the time you never really think about it. But most people who take on COVID hobbies, they're buying stuff to work with, but instead you're actually repurposing things and recycling them. So you're not only having something interesting to do, but you're also benefiting the environment at the same time. And that's really impressive.
Thank you.
Awesome. Anyone else have any comments, questions? Um, I know Lena mentioned something in the chat. I don't know if you saw it earlier. Um, did you want to give it an answer or?
So question, how do you have zero waste life without collecting stuff resulting to Lena, that question is a really, really good question, actually. It's going to be a learning process. And if you live with family, you live with friends and roommates and everything, try to communicate with them first. My house, at some point, feels like a dumpster in a way, because you kind of, I don't know, I started with like thinking, oh, I'm gonna try to do everything, like trying to like recycle everything and not to waste anything. But you still buy things when that comes in packages, and then the packages being like, oh, this plastic, I don't want to throw it away, so I'm gonna keep it. Maybe later I can use it. It piles up because the current human practice that is just all this packaging thing is just pile up. My partner was really pissed one time because like our kitchen was just overflow with all this like wrap and everything. Um, just remember that it's a learning process, and you have to figure it out your steps. So don't force yourself to do everything to save everything. Like do what you can and slowly adapting and take a slow step into um, change, like reuse and purpose everything. Because like in the beginning, if you never done this before, in the beginning you will not have a lot of idea like what this can do, what the, like how to utilize it, all the stuff. But as you learn and as you like do more, practice more, and you will get a lot more experience. And then that's how creativity will actually flourish, because it's like when you have to take a time to accumulate experience before you can actually be creative, and then to really figure out a way to use all those materials. And also it's good for you, it's good for everyone to actually go into those online formal communities to share your experience, because you will just help a lot of people to not live in a cluster places, and then to really reuse a lot of that material that we have around us. So it takes time. It's really, it takes a lot of time. And then yeah, I had some fights in the house before. So yeah, it will take a lot of communication as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Yang. Yeah, I totally like felt what you said about like a lot of people when they look at things like zero waste, they're like, I have to instantly change to zero waste. But like you said, that's not something you do overnight, right? It's something you have to develop habits over time. And then eventually you can reduce and reduce until you get to zero waste. So I really like that. I will take those everything you said today to heart, and hopefully I learned more from this. Does anyone else have any last minute questions, comments? If not, we're going to move on to our closing for today. Okay, awesome. So once again, everyone, let's give a round of applause for Yang for speaking for us today. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the closing. So once again, you can check us out on our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, on TCGYL. You can find us everywhere on there. You can also learn more about this challenge at mysustainableplate.com, and there's a youngleaders.cg.us. And then we also have supporting the campaign. If you would like to follow our social medias, like and repost our content to raise awareness about the 30-day challenge. Small actions make a big difference, especially when there's lots of people doing these small actions. And these are our hashtags on the right side if you're interested in using them. We have contact us. So once again, if you have any questions about the content, the discussions, the things we talked about in webinars, or like the actions, you can feel free to email us or message us on one of our social media platforms. If you're having issues with the Cred app, the one where you track your actions and your daily feeling and stuff, you're going to go onto the contact us button on their app. And I just wanted to thank you all so much for coming to our webinar number 2 or 3, depending on how you look at it. So it was wonderful talking to you all today. If anyone has any last minute questions, comments, concerns, anything, you can stay and let us know. Otherwise, you're all free to go. Thank you so much for coming, and have a wonderful weekend and have a great Halloween.